of what we're trying to accomplish with our project is to bring blockchain and giving so it can become a very powerful philanthropic movement of giving back. With our partnership with the SDG Impact Fund, which is one of the primary funds of the United Nations, we're coming to do just that. So hopefully we'll have an opportunity to share a little bit about what the accomplishments are, where we're headed, and overall, what is it to be part of our movement.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Abhay, let's start with you. Could you tell us what does breaking barriers mean to you for Colexion?
As we were seeing, NFT was being the most hot topic right now in the blockchain space. The reason behind it has been because it's the first technology which has made a digital content to have a copyright. The content which people were able to just view it before, now people can own it. So the most interesting thing which we thought we could do in this space was to make the fans own a piece of their celebrities in the modern world, digitally. So this is the greatest barrier which we think we're going to break it.
Cool. Abhay, I understand that Colexion is focusing on the NFT marketplace in the Indian market. What are the impacts that you plan to bring to the Indian market?
So we're just not gonna break the impacts in the Indian market, but in the global market, in the NFT space, because NFTs are, as we see in the apes, so many others are inflating in so much of the prices. Not much of the people can afford to buy. They feel it's too late. They don't know, is it the right thing to buy or is it not the right thing to buy? So that is why we are linking our NFTs directly with the top legends, the celebrities, which people know, people think about. And while doing, we will not only provide NFTs as low as $2, but there will be a lot of gamification which will be involved in this, where people can actively participate in the game, win NFTs, also in the future, as we will see. Why NFT will be the biggest space in this world? Because we see all the paintings around the room, which are static, doesn't move, people can not change it. But because like Google Alexa has come, a lot of automation has come, very soon we will have LED screens on our wall instead of static paintings, and you can plug in from your mobile phone and you can play your NFTs. Maybe you check into a hotel in Miami or in London or in Dubai. You can plug your NFT with the LED screen there and you can play your own NFTs. So NFT will not be only affordable for masses with as low as $2, maximum up to $40, but it will also involve a lot of gamifications, direct interaction between the fans and the celebrities. So like fans will definitely own a piece of their celebrity.
Thank you, Abhay. Next, Abhi, what is Indian community lacking on the grassroots level to achieve mass adoption? Do you want to share some light on that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Indians have always been a little bit ahead on any kind of technological innovation. It's the invention of the number 0 to the crisis of Y2K to the Hotmail era or anything, you know. So Indians are at the backbone of the engineering problem, and we are always looking to solve that. Everything else is a repercussion or an effect that is felt out. And even in the crypto industry, as we saw with even a lot of Bitcoin co-developers, people don't know are Indians. And what we saw with the scaling problem with Matic, we've been building communities. We were building Matic before it was called Matic. And now I think the problem is to solve the interoperability identity problem, which can hold your assets, which can make you sign on any kind of services that are available on the blockchain ecosystem. And then the biggest thing is that today, Colexion is making their own thing, Toli is making his own thing, Jerry's making his own thing. The infrastructure is a big problem, and was always a problem for anyone to go deep dive in tech in that segment, in a deep dive in cryptography or even zero knowledge or even maintaining the nodes, running the nodes. and health and hygiene. And we don't want to go to AWS or IBM. Although right now we don't have as many bare metal servers operating in a decentralized environment, but the focus is there, and we'll do it. But till then, we'll help everyone again in the engineering problem. The engineering problem is to have better infrastructure, and the engineering problem is to have a multi-chain support. So right now, wherever you're building a project, you don't know, the adoption, like I said, like right now, not everyone can afford NFTs because they were not early in ETH, right? So we were early in ETH, so we can afford NFTs or pay these huge ransoms, we call them, of fees, of gas fees, or of any transaction. But then it is imperative that in the future, everyone will have an understanding that it is not on which chain it is, but the actual intrinsic utility of that thing. And I think once that concept is cleared out, everyone can move across chains and we'll be there to support them. So I think that's what it is. Right now, the problem of engineering or the problem of breaking barriers in crypto is basically first understanding that you're not building on what chain is what you're building. And if people focus on that, like Phil, like he's focusing on what he knows, what he's focusing on, and then that's more basically pragmatic approach. That's the pragmatic approach. But if you think about, oh, I'm building on that chain because it's like this, no, that's not the thing. The framework is the last thing. The first thing is what intrinsic thing that you're making that will help people out, and yeah, that's what it is. So breaking barriers in crypto is to understand the native utility of what you really, really want, and then we'll solve the engineering problems for them.
Great. What do you think of India in terms of where they are with their own CBDCs?
So I don't know if this is the right platform that I can disclose a lot of information, but India is playing their part. There have always been followers in regulatory policies and lawmaking since the colonization era, and even post that, even when the Industrial Revolution happened in 1991, we were just followers. Even right now, we're not even members of the OECD. We are just a sitting audience in the OECD. So we can basically, our laws, when formulated by the UN, I don't know if anyone knows about DDAA or transfer pricing laws, but we're only followers, that's what I mean. So even with the CBDC technique, we're just, again, following, all right? I love as much as I love UK, as much as I love India, I love Singapore as much because my brother's married there. But the point is that when we need to see this space, we need to see it in a global, framework. If right now we are deal broking with ministers and bureaucrats, then are we in blockchain yet? And are you blockchained yet? So that's the question to ask first. And if we are following what we, like we have been making, public policy making has always been a follower approach, even since, B.R. Ambedkar's time. B.R. Ambedkar was the guy who drafted the Constitution of India. But he was given 1.35 crores at that time, which is around $200,000 of now money in 1935 to start off his work for the Constitution of India. And he was told to just go and follow the UK laws, all right? And that's how our Constitution is basically based on the, on the Queen's law. But the same approach is being now as well, not much difference, just the people and faces have changed. But we need to give them a sense of technology. They're right now talking about CBDCs, but this is basically just the digital version of the Indian rupee, going to be centralized, which will have full control, over by the Reserve Bank of India, which is highly in debt, like any other Reserve Bank. But if they wanted support from us, they would have come to us. And if they wanted support, we can't be just going there and telling them, oh, do it like this. Although my co-founder is deeply involved in the thing, but I think not really happy personally, on a personal level. And I'm not making laws for a country. I'm making, so it doesn't. I don't care.
Thank you, Abhay. Toli, you might have talked to us about how EX Sports is supporting underdog in the sports industry.
So first of all,
can you repeat that question?
So first of all, we are supporting them financially because especially after COVID, these federations are really struggling to come back on their feet. While in the crypto community and all of this one, there is a big pissing contest going on, and everyone is throwing big money on the big IP, right? So it really allowed all of these major leagues, the NBAs, everyone to come out easy out of this crisis from COVID, and they had also enough reserves, while all of these hundreds of sports federations that were struggling through COVID, right, letting go of their people to support their website, etc., they need to come back now.
So the first way we're supporting them is through financial support, becoming their sponsor, and helping them to get back on their feet with events. Because a sport is only going to grow if you allow the athletes to come back with events. So we have the International Federation of Jiu-Jitsu hosting the World Championships of Jiu-Jitsu here in Abu Dhabi. Expected 2,500 athletes coming in. The UAE is a big supporter of Jiu-Jitsu, so they don't need additional funding, but even us, we come in with small financial support to make sure that all of these athletes from around the world can participate. We have the IPF championship in Europe, in Norway, with more than 1,200 athletes participating. So now, 2 years after COVID almost, we first of all work with these federations to make sure that they have enough money to come back with events, and then make announcements about our partnerships and bring the blockchain, the NFT, and all of that on a later stage. But right now, what they need is financial support that we can provide them to come back on their feet.
So how is crypto and blockchain enabling this initiative, from your opinion?
So I'm going to focus more on blockchain. It was always very difficult for me to explain, especially to these federations and to these all grassroots sports. I always kept it very simple. I keep it very simple right now. When we look at collectibles, or now everyone calls them NFTs, right? So what is this blockchain allowing you to do? It allows you to guarantee the authenticity. That is the most important message that I give them, and I'm still giving them, right? But I also work with the federations and with the IP owners and tell them, listen, guys, I need you as well, because we have the tech now that guarantees the authenticity. So if I make, of Rico 1,000 cards, this technology can guarantee we're going to have only 1,000. But the question is, who is going to authenticate that Rico is a real athlete and not a scammer coming into our platform to raise money? And this is why, the blockchain is enabling us the authenticity, but the federation is equally important to now verify that Rico is a real fighter or an athlete and not some scammer coming into our platform, raising money to go out and party.
So today's topic is about breaking barriers in the space. So how is ES Sports breaking barriers?
So, like I said, the big barrier, where's the barrier right now? For the NFL, for the NBA, for Premier League, there is no barrier. They're just sitting back and they're getting offers all day, 100 millions, billions deals coming into their way, right? But for all of these federations that are struggling to pay their IT to maintain their website, there is a big barrier to come into crypto. So we have built one centralized, unified platform where we have one strong team for the whole marketplace, and then we are allowing them to create the NFTs for their athletes first, to now start also benefiting and monetizing of these new revenue streams that blockchain brought us, right? And that is the first, having one platform and allowing them to make some money, right, on one unified platform, and have access to a team that can help them to develop further projects. Some of these federations want to launch their own tokens, some want to have their member coins, and all of that. That's all in the future. But as for now, they need to have one access point, one company who cares about them, and it's not joining the big competition of who is spending more money on the major leagues, and giving them attention, giving them the right support so they can get started to educate their hundreds of millions of athletes.
Thank you, Toli. Next, let's move to Jerry. Jerry, how is the crypto space enabling innovation and groundbreaking launch of Philcoin? Do you mind to share some opinion on that?
Yes, absolutely. So to me, the crypto space and blockchain is creating a pathway for a lot of people to be able to tap into the digital era. A lot of people, especially in third world countries, places like Latin America and some parts of Asia, don't have access to education, don't have access to the simple, basic means of technology. So what we've done in Philcoin was created an incubating app where all cryptocurrencies can come and support the philanthropic endeavors that we want to accomplish, because we give back by the activity of people, by the activity of the reason why it all started. Technology is great, absolutely. We can walk around here and be mesmerized by a million things that technology is doing. But what is that we're doing as people to share the message of prosperity through something so innovating like the technology of blockchain and crypto. So it is all based on giving back information. Information is key. So in our ecosystem, we've been blessed to have the opportunity to partner with the #1 success training institute in the United States, which we will be giving free education, soft skills training for the average person right out of their cell phone. So while you're getting educated, guess what? You're going to be able and have the opportunity to earn. Because while you're earning, you're learning. And while you're doing that, you're also supporting the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, which are our sole partners when it comes down to philanthropy. A lot of people ask me, why Philcoin? Why its name? Well, it's simple, right? Philanthropy has never been taken peer-to-peer. And I will repeat that again. Philanthropy has never been taken peer-to-peer. It's always been on a foundation level. It's always been on a charitable level. It's always been great families, which we're very grateful for, that set aside financial resources to be able to help people in third world countries. What we're trying to accomplish here is for everyone in the community to participate in a place that is going to be innovative by giving back, and that's the barrier that we're breaking. We're breaking the barrier of separation between giving back and technology. And when those two things come together, we come together strong, because a lot of people forgot the values of why all of this started. All of this great technology, everything that we see and live, guess what? It happened because a handful of people started giving Bitcoin away. Nobody believed in the technology. Wouldn't you guys agree? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to give back through a source of giving back, and we invite everyone in the space to come and be part of our incubating app to give back, because the more people use it, the more it gets staked.
So, Jerry, tell us what is the integral part of giving back in Philcoin?
I'm sorry?
The integral part of giving back to
So
Philcoin.
the integral part of giving back at Philcoin, we have our own mobile app, just like WhatsApp and Telegram, completely decentralized, and it gives you 7 minutes of use per megabyte versus other competitors that give you 3 to 4 minutes. We give you 7 minutes, and it functions even on 2G. So again, we go back to the third world countries, right? That cannot afford a 5G phone. So if we can give people the opportunity to communicate, that's a big plus, especially nowadays with COVID and everything that's going on. You know, sometimes in some of these countries, you still can't leave your home. It's just like my wife is from Cuba, and guess what? You can't even get into that country now. But if they have a cell phone that functions on low bandwidth, they can communicate with their families in other parts of the world. So we're doing that for starters. Number 2, the educational part with the soft skills training. That's also a big deal. Number 3, we're partnering with a lot of great people to help us continue to innovate, because our goal is for the app and the services to be given for free. We want to give free, because if we give free, we create activity, and activity creates growth, and growth creates wealth. So if we can do those things great, we will be able to change a lot of people's lives. So that's what Philcoin is on.
Great. Jerry, thank you very much for that. What does impact means to you?
Well, impact, yeah, falling in love with my wife. Yeah. Okay, so impact, well, let me rephrase that word. I think it's more of a passion than an impact. You know, I come from a place where I had my first pair of shoes that my mother was able to buy me at the age of 8 years old. You know, so I know what it is to not have anything. I know what it is to become an entrepreneur and a 7-figure earner by the age of 25 with no help. I know what it is to go back to nothing for making mistakes and coming right back up and creating more wealth to help other people. But one thing I've never stopped doing is giving back, because I believe that greatest wealth is by giving back. If you understand that prosperity comes from what you give and not what you receive, you will understand that if we all innovate with this technology, with all these great things that everyone here has, and we come together to change the world, we will create a better place. But it starts with us on here on this panel. It starts with each and every one of you that is here, and it's all about making a move.
Thank you, Jerry. And before wrapping up, I'd like to invite all the speakers on panel to describe their own project in 3 words. Let's start with Abhay.
Infinity begins here. I repeat, infinity begins here.
Great. Toli? 3 words that describe EX Sports.
NFT for everyone.
Cool. Abhi as well for Safle.
Community-governed identity.
Okay, good. And Jerry for Philcoin, 3 words.
Blockchain giving abundance.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the speakers today, and thank you for having us.
Thank you so
today.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Before taking a picture, I would like to call one of my teammate, Mayank, to felicitate the panel, please. That was an amazing session. Now, moving on to the next pitch from Mr.